What attracted you to working with startups and in the technology space?
So I actually had somebody come forward to me and ask me to put my hand up for a technology role back in the day. And I went, really? And they said, yeah, you'd be really great at it. And it was a really good male friend of mine. And from that moment, I never looked back. I was, in fact, back a number of years now, head of the Y2K for Bell Canada, which in fact is the largest Y2K conversion in North America that was done. And that was my first role. So I went pretty hard into technology immediately, but it was the best thing that I ever did.
And you've worked with many companies in many roles. What's been the biggest challenge to date, or even the biggest success to date?
Probably the biggest challenge was the Y2K conversion for Bell Canada, because it was so complicated and it was pretty crazy. But my biggest success, I would say, is in the last few years. I ran a company with 4 other executives over 3 continents and built it from 0 to 175 million US in 24 months. And the complexity, the intricacy of it, all the people that were involved, including all the shareholders, which were very high visibility shareholders, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, and I look back on that as probably the epitome of my career.
Companies are also looking to try and figure out diversity, and it's one of their challenges now globally. How do you tackle that again if you are a large company and you are working in multiple markets and every country is at different stages with regards to how they are inclusive with their business culture? So how do you balance that?
The balance is around making sure it's really clear what you believe in and what the organization stands for. And I think even if people are at different levels, they're looking to see how things are being done elsewhere. So they'll be looking over, to the other country, or looking at other best practices that you have in the organization. But what's really important is always to be very clear about what your values are, and the people around the world will accept them, provided you're walking and talking them, which is really the hardest part.
Well, you're walking and talking now with regards to female founders and trying to help get more female founders funded and giving them, more opportunity. What needs to be done to see that change, to see an increase in female founders?
I think we're at a really great point in history right now. There's a groundswell of women who want to be founders. There's great market conditions for them to be founders. And I think, to be fair, the boards and people with the money are actually open to having a more diverse group of individuals come forward to get access to those resources. And so all of that together is going to be a great springboard for women, but also because I have more time available, I'm trying to get my message out even more for them to come and reach out and let's learn more about how you can make that happen.
So from a mentorship perspective?
From a mentorship, but also advising on different stages in their business, because it's different when you first start to when you're kind of midway, and then when you want to go for funding, and what do you have to do there, and what do those conversations look like? Because if you've never been there, and many women haven't, you don't know what goes on in that room after you close the door and ask for money. So I have been, very active in making sure they see the whole spectrum of what's involved to be a founder. It's not just the beginning, and you're in for the long haul. It's not for the faint of heart, but if you're in it, then we want to make sure that you make it through the marathon, not the sprint.
So for those first-time founders, first-time entrepreneurs, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
Be bold and courageous. It really requires courageous. There's going to be times when you're second-guessing yourself, but instead of sitting there doing that, you're better off to reach out to someone who's done it and ask them, does this make sense? Am I feeling the right thing? Whatever the issue is. But it's really about being courageous.